You guys, after watching this movie, I'm speechless. I am left speechless. How can a movie be so god awful? Stupid stories, stupid characters, and what has to be some of the lamest action scenes ever to be put to screen. You said what now? Oh, we aren't doing the Matrix Resurrections right now? Which movie are you doing? Spider-Man? Far From Home? No Way Home. Oh, okay, I can see. Right, okay. Okay, got you. We're still rolling? My bad. What I meant to say is Spider-Man No Way Home is one of the most ambitious movies ever attempted. This movie is absolutely amazing. It has flaws. And to be clear, this film would be downright awful if not for this movie's ability to build on what came before it and forge a path of its own, delivering on both spectacle and heart. So, Spider-Man No Way Home picks up right where the last film ended. Pretty cool. Peter must deal with the fact that his identity is no longer a secret and how that affects his life and the ones around him. Peter comes up with a plan to erase everyone's memories in the hopes to fix all of his problems. That, of course, doesn't end up working out, and he inadvertently unleashes a group of foes who are dead set on killing Peter Parker and taking out Spider-Man once and for all. Let's start with the good. Like I said in the intro, I love this movie. I love everything about it. It hits the ground running. This movie wastes no time. The action was fantastic. This movie, again, demonstrates why people like Spider-Man so much. When you boil it down to the basics, he's just a fun character to watch bounce around and do his thing. This film is no exception. He's Spider-Man. It's cool. Spider-Man's cool. The story is fantastic. Probably the best of the 3 Spider-Man films so far. The MCU ones. This movie has constant surprises around every corner. And I was pleased to know how well everything was kept on the low. Granted, I had to do my part to avoid social media and anything that could spoil stuff for me. So like any sort of like TV or anything like that. So I managed to avoid a lot of the spoilers. Good for me on that one. And at this point, it isn't even necessary to repeat, but I avoid trailers, man. Especially a Sony movie trailer. You guys remember the Amazing Spider-Man 2 fiasco, right? You know, when they put the literal final shot of the movie in the trailer. The final shot. The last moments before it cuts to black is in the trailer.
Worthless motherfucker.
I was so mad. Anyways, there are some really touching moments and some really good character moments that I don't want to spoil here. And yeah, there are a couple of moments where it's just like, you know, I might felt a little emotional or something like that. It's nothing, you know what I'm saying? The movie just hit me in the feels. If you grew up with these characters, you know what I'm talking about. But it's just like, I ain't crying, you crying. Shut up. Watching this movie was just a joy for me. I wish it was longer. I wish it didn't have to come to an end. What I think this version of Spider-Man is so good at doing is putting Spidey in situations that we don't normally see him in. The first 2 iterations of Spider-Man on film have stuck to the urban jungle as the backdrop for the story and characters, which is fitting and appropriate. I'm not saying that's bad. Like Spider-Man he's neighborhood Spider-Man, like he's in New York, like duh. So this MCU Spider-Man needed to go out of its way to not just tread the same ground and give us the same scenarios with the same story and characters with the same areas. That's why we got a younger Peter Parker, still in school, with an emphasis on younger Peter Parker. We swap out Harry for Ned, swap out Mary Jane for Michelle Jones. Keep the story in the neighborhoods rather than the big city. In the sequel, they straight up leave New York. I don't think Spider-Man ever left New York as the setting in the other films. And now we see effectively the MCU's take on a live-action Spider-Verse crossed with the Sinister Six. Oh, and sprinkling some Doctor Strange just for good measure. Just 2 hours of just. And even with all the ambitious elements, the movie manages to stick the landing with an ending that is both satisfying and conclusive, while also leaving the door open for infinite possibilities? Was this the plan all along? On to the bad. Well, Sandman and Lizard sort of got the short end of the stick, didn't they? I mean, it's understandable considering bigger characters like Doc Ock, Goblin, and Electro had the most development for them, so like I guess they would be the characters you focus on. But Sandman, at least, come on, man, like Sandman. His first encounter hints at something cool, like gonna team up with Spider-Man or something. Oh, that's cool. But then he just becomes the one-note villain, just like Lizard. Lizard is just there. He's just there. He adds nothing, and he looks awful. Like, his CG is not good, which is ridiculous. This is Marvel. They should have thrown all the money at this to make him look good, but he doesn't. Which sort of ties into the second thing, which is the final battle, taking place at night.
At night.
There were some points during the final battle that I could hardly tell what was going on. I couldn't tell the three Spider-Men apart sometimes. By contrast, Far From Home's final battle was taking place during the daytime in a well-lit open area that I could easily see everything. This movie has the final battle at night.
At night.
But all of those are minor nitpicks when compared to everything this film accomplishes. And none of it detracts from my overall enjoyment of the movie. Like I made it pretty clear in the beginning, this movie is dope. It lived up to the hype. It fulfilled what it set out to do. And then some. I've enjoyed the MCU's take on the webhead. And with this movie, I can reflect on the character's past and have a newfound appreciation of what came before and excitement for what the future has in store for this character. And not only being the end of the MCU Spider-Man trilogy, but also serving as a culmination of the past 20 years of Spider-Man on film. I love this movie. And if you like Spider-Man, you'll love this movie too. Spider-Man No Way Home is amazing and was definitely worth the wait. Thank you, Marvel. A 5 out of 5. I grew up with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I loved those movies. This movie did a good job of not just baiting with nostalgia, but also giving some conclusion to a character that, if you know the history of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, it was a rocky history, and we never got a Spider-Man 4. And so if we never see Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man again, I would be happy. Because of this movie, I can die happy. Okay? What did you guys think? $1 million question? Who's your favorite Spider-Man? Who's your favorite Spider-Man villain? It's crazy that one of my first reviews was Spider-Man Homecoming. That's crazy. If you guys want to know what I thought about that movie, then go ahead and check out the review. It's a little cringy, but yeah. While you're at it, check out all of my other reviews. I have like a bunch of them on my channel, so check them all out. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.